Welcome to What Juices You, where we explore what energizes leaders and how that energy fuels performance, connection, and growth. I am Brady Wilson. I'm from Juice Inc. And in each episode, I sit down with leaders and we talk about what fuels them, what sustains them, and the lessons they've learned that can be helpful for all of us. Today, I'm excited to have Dr. Zippy Abla on the podcast. She is a keynote speaker, an entrepreneur, a university professor. I've, in my language, happiness ninja. She's the queen of joy. If she has anything to do with it, she is going to proliferate happiness and joy all over the world. Zippy, you've told me to just call you Zippy, not Dr.
Yes.
Abla. Yeah, okay. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brady, for having me here. I'm so happy and grateful to be here with you today.
I am so tickled. Okay. So we're going to start with a question. I've been asking leaders for literally 20 years, what juices you? But I thought we would put a finer point on it today because I can imagine in that huge purpose and meaning that you have to proliferate happiness and joy, and we'll get more into kind of what really is that, but that takes a lot of energy, and there will be days when you go, is this really happening or not? And there'll be setbacks in society and in our culture where you might have this existential crisis, are we really getting to be more of a happy culture or not? So what is it that allows you to sustain your energy in this important work that you do, Zippy?
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking that. What absolutely juices me up, as I'd say, is the moment. I mean, I think just people recognizing that happiness isn't something that happens to them. And it's a learnable skill. That is what I want people to, even when it's a learnable skill, Brady, it's just the same way we learn AI, we are learning Excel, we learned how to use Zoom. It's a learnable skill that can be developed and controlled. So that is what drives me, because it is something that we can learn. So it's really not about how I'm feeling, or, so if I'm lit up when watching that shift, when somebody says, from I'll be happy when to yes, I can create happiness right now. And that happens to me, Brady, that happens to me every day. Every day, life is lifing. Life is lifing. I'm a mom, I have kids, and they are not feeling, people, they're moving, doing life as though, the way life is happening, they wake up, how am I feeling? That's how they'll show up in the day. But what I'm trying to help people, or what energizes me, is when people start taking responsibility for their own, and not in a toxic positivity way, because that it's so. But really, it's in an empowering, science-backed way,
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you want to ask, but I could go on about this.
I want to ask you lots of questions. I think that one of the things you must encounter is that mindset that people have, that the happy person is that perky person who's like the Energizer Bunny who walks into the workplace saying, good morning, good morning, good morning. And that you've either got that or you don't. And if you're that kind of cynical, introverted person who is kind of more Eeyore than Tigger, you're never going to be a happy person, because it's just like you didn't get that gene. So you're saying that we have far more agency in this thing.
We do.
And so tell me about that agency and how it is that you help people shift from you're either happy or you're not to any one of us can be happy. It is a choice that we make, and there are skills. You're saying it is a skill that can be learned. So talk to us about that.
Yes, for sure. Once people learn they have agency over their emotional state, everything changes, Brady. People notice their thoughts instead of being hijacked by them. So, science shows that, before we thought it's genetically, just as you said, and yes, we are predisposed genetically. Some people are predisposed to be more optimistic, and some people, to see the glass half full, some people to see the glass half empty. And let me tell you, this is so fascinating for me because I have twin girls and they see the world very differently. So it has nothing to do with, when they were born, maybe, sometimes you say, oh, because she was born when I was maybe grown, I had learned some more parenting skills. So the other one now is, no, these ones are growing at the same time.
Absolutely.
They were in the uterus at the same time. And you can tell. So genetically, they are different.
Yep.
But this is because they are not identical twins. But they've studied identical twins who are separated, the study of epigenetics, who were separated either at birth or because of something, and they were separated and lived in different environments.
Yeah.
And because of the habits they picked up in the different environments, their genetic makeup changed. So that's one of the things that's how they are finding out that we can shift our genetic makeup by our behaviors.
That's a mind-blowing thing right there.
It is mind-blowing.
Our genetic code is, some people would believe that is immutable and it can never change.
It is changing. That's the new study with the study of epigenetics. They are finding that. And so, they say we have, the science says we have a happiness set point. Like, as I said, either you see the glass half full or half empty. And so that has been true for up to 20 years ago when they started studying these studies, where they started saying, then 10% of our happiness is based on circumstances. And those are the things we are constantly chasing, Brady. We are chasing whatever. So we spend most of our days trying to fit this 10% because, the 50% we think it's our genetics, then the 10% is the circumstances, and the 40% is determined by us. And that's by our beliefs, our habits, our behaviors. What you believe, what you think, you believe, you behave. And that's what causes. So 40% already of our happiness is determined by us, straight up what you do. But then now they found out that the 50%, which is the genetic piece, we can start shifting that. So basically 90% of our happiness is dependent on us.
Wow.
And then 10% is what the circumstance. And so we can't deal with the 10%. We are so busy chasing the 10%. Well, we can work on our 90%.
It must rock people's world when you present those data.
Yeah.
That 90% you actually have some control over.
You do. We do have control, and we have many tools we teach on how to help people be able to start shifting. First of all, taking responsibility, just owning that 90% and knowing, what, it's on me. It really is on me to decide how I'll shift. And then so what I have that makes, because sometimes even me, Brady, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, my back, or today I didn't sleep. The last 3 days I've not slept well because I've had sick children and they've all come to my bed, plus the cat, everything. And so it's, and then you still have to get up and still do the work.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what we found out, I teach people, taking a literal dose of happiness, and that's because we know, because we've some of the things we say, I know lean towards happy because we know when you're happy, what happens. So like when you're happy, and maybe I should give a little bit of how we measure happiness is how we measure, how they measure your internal state of well-being. So it's not about walking around like la 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 la. It's having an internal peace, an internal state of peace and well-being. And when we measure that, or it's measured, is seeing how coherent your heartbeat is.
Yes.
And how it's beat and how your brain is. So if
the coherence between this major organ right here and this organ right here.
Yes.
Right? There are two brains.
Two brains. And once
we've got three. We've got our gut as well. we got three brains.
Yes. But once you start, once your heart is, and just quickly, if you just held your heart, and you can tell, I do this a lot with my children because I want them to actually see when they're frustrated, when you're angry or fearful or whatever, if they touch their heart over here, they can feel their heart beating really fast. Mm-hmm. Because it's like da 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 da, and if there's a measurement, there's an actual tool that they use to measure. Yes. I try to teach to measure how your heart is beating, and then so when your heart is like in a jerky state, It's called heart incoherence, and it can be measured. The energy, energetically, you can measure. You can feel that energy, and when it is flowing at a it's at peace or whatever, then it is coherent, and it beats at the same time. It's the way it's beating. It aligns, or it syncs with the way the brain is working. So you're incoherent, and when you are incoherent, not incoherent, but when your heart is coherent.
Yes.
When you have heart coherence, heart mind coherence, then good things happen. So can I share some of those things?
Yes. And I've seen some of this with the Heart Math Institute.
Yes, I do a lot of work. Most of my research comes from Heart Math Institute.
Yes,
That's my podcast all day.
If people are looking for more of that Heart Math Institute, fantastic around coherence. And the other thing I'm hearing you talk about too, and I'll bet you it's part of your experience, is just somatics and the embodiment and how that relates to happiness and joy. Is that true, Zippy?
That is very true.
Yeah.
Somatics. So somatics we talk about, and just listening to your body and just energetically, because Brady, you've been to a room where you've walked in and you did not know anybody, you did not hear anything that went on into that room, and when you walked in and you just felt like, yikes.
Yes.
And that room, that's energy. We can read energy. Your body can read energy, whether you know it or not. We do know. The thing is, we never pay attention enough, or we try and push through.
Right.
So when you have, there are two types of energies. That's what we said. There's contractive energy and there's expansive energy.
Yes.
And we can do that. And I do the exercise in my class where I tell people, just if you curl down, like, you are tight into a tight ball, and then say, I am so happy. I mean, that it's so off.
So
you can't you can't do that. And you can't be like in your most expansive state, like wide shoulders up and up, and then say, I am so depressed. That is very opposite. Yeah. You can. So usually when you're in a tight state, we say just in colloquial language, you say, I'm feeling some type of way. When you're feeling some type of way, just notice that it's usually you're feeling either anxious, fearful, maybe shame. What else can you be feeling when you're feeling tight? You know that feeling?
Yes. Apprehension.
Yes. So when you're in that, when you feel like that, that's a contractive state.
Yeah.
So when you're in that state, usually your heart also goes in coherence. Okay, so it's just noticing, and what the research has shown that. So for me, this is what gets me excited and helps me move towards an expansive state, because it serves me as a human, as a mom, as a employee. Because when you are in an incoherent state, so when you're in anxious state, when you're feeling contracted, when you feel that type of way, just for 5 minutes. If you feel contracted for 5 minutes and you stay like that, and many of us stay like that for days,
It's true.
If you stay like that for 5 minutes, research shows that the next 6 hours, your immunity tanks.
Oh my goodness.
It tanks. Like, Brady, how you don't want to move around with poor immunity. Right. That's when you get sick. That's when, like you're stressed out. And then the opposite is true. When you are in an expanded state, when you wake, when you feel expansive for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, the next 6 hours, your immunity is boosted. So for me, that's what makes me, it doesn't matter. So I know life is life and I'll just let things, I'll just, in my head, I'll be like, okay, I want my immunity boosted. I really do. So what do I need? So what I do is notice what I'm noticing. If I'm feeling contracted, then I start moving, leaning. I know I need to lean towards expansion, to be towards an expansive. So that's what I teach. I just want people to take ownership and notice themselves. Notice what you're noticing.
And you were saying that you can measure well-being. So you're saying coherence is one way to measure it. I'm
Yes.
assuming that we could measure well-being by the amount of cortisol in the system. Would that be true as well?
Yes. They measure. In fact, so what I was saying is, when you do, that I call it the dose of happiness. There is a dopamine,
Yes.
oxytocin. So these are happy hormones, which
Mm-hmm.
happy chemicals, which you want your brain to produce, because our bodies, whatever you're feeling, Brady, whatever you're feeling, Brady, there's nothing for nothing. Something has made it feel like that, and it's your brain is working with your heart and your body, and that's why things are being produced. Or any feeling you feel, it's signals, it's energies through your
Sure.
body, right? So
Yeah.
it's very important to notice. So things that, like if your brain produces dopamine, your brain will produce dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins.
Yep.
So these are actual chemicals that we can learn to activate intentionally.
Yes.
So when we understand that they can, what some of the things that you do can trigger these neurochemicals, through specific practices, happiness stops being this mystical thing. It becomes a strategy. So that is what I like to do. So actually that is what I try to, there's, for the, holding your heart. Even the research shows that the brain, your body doesn't know whether you're being hugged by somebody else, or you're being hugged, or whether you're hugging yourself. Like when you do like this, that is just one of the skills. Your brain doesn't know, oh, Brady is hugging himself. No, your heart feels that tight,
That's
that
fascinating.
whatever. So that's why you find, many times you'll find people, like either, putting your hand on your heart. It's just telling it, be still, knowing that it's a love. It brings the love feeling, like you're being
Yes.
hugged.
Yes.
Okay. So it
Some
produces that. So it doesn't matter. You don't need to find other people to hug you. You can hug
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Those are just some small things. We talk about, exercise. We know that. We know about sleeping.
Yeah.
Even just basic things. It's just starting to actually taking ownership of these things, so that your body is, you're activating happiness. You're triggering these neurochemicals.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things, another, I think, myth that you're
Yeah.
probably busting is that a life with significant reversals and setbacks and sorrow could never be a life of joy. And I don't ascribe to that at all. We were just having a conversation with a bunch of people yesterday, and they were
Yes.
just saying that no, it is those setbacks and reversals and big mistakes that I've made, and actually sorrows, that enable me to access a much deeper sense of joy and calm and peacefulness and resourcefulness. I don't want to go through those things again, but they have so much meaning to me now, and they allow me to be in a state of joy. And I don't have to be afraid that something else is going to happen, because I can have joy in the midst of even a sorrowful experience. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I think for some people, it's one or the other.
Yes, actually, you remember when I talked about the set point? Some of the things people have found out, like if people will go through, like happiness is actually a spectrum. It's not I'm happy or not happy. Okay, so there is a spectrum of happiness, and we know unhappy. Brady, unhappy. I know unhappy. When we've been in complete, when you're completely dysregulated, like you're so unhappy, like you're so angry, you're so fearful, you're so dis whatever it is. We know that feeling of unhappiness, and that nobody wants to feel like that, right? And then then you move to happy for not a good reason. So happy for not a good reason is how we start helping ourselves. Like we are overeating, we are doom scrolling, we are gambling. That's we get it. You get a dose of something. It's a happy. You overshop. We do that. So it's a spectrum. So you feel happy, but then it's not. It doesn't stay. It's. I mean, it's just a hit. And then we have the happy for a good reason, which is where most of us stay. Oh, I got married, I got a kid, I got a job, I got a boyfriend. Like those are the things now we hang around thinking. But happy for no reason is where we want to be. And that's where you're saying because what happens is when you're happy for a good reason, when those good reasons, when they're taken away, like right now with jobs, we've had so many jobs have been taken away. People have lost jobs. So if you were so happy because you got a job, then now the job is taken. Now you're back to, you're not happy. So, or you are so happy you got married, then your relationship is going sideways. Then you're not happy. So it's so conditional. So what we teach in the skill is so that it's not dependent on you want to come to the happy for no reason. And that's a book I've read. I read by Marcy Shamoff, who they studied the happiest people, and so they found out the happiest people. It doesn't matter what has happened. They, even as I said, they are the thermometers, like they don't wait. They're not reactionary. They don't wait for the temperature. When the temperature is high, a thermometer, when the temperature is high, then you're high. If the temperature is low, then you are frozen. But what they found out that these people who are happy, the happiest people, what they do is they are like thermostats.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So they read the energy, they can tell what's going on, and they know. And that's what I pray that, and I hope everyone who I get to talk to is that they'll know that they behave as thermostats. So that when they read the room and they can tell the circumstance right now is taking me down wherever, but I can raise my set point. I can raise the set point. I do not have to go there because I know when I go there, when life happens and you can feel it. Oh, by the way, research shows that it only takes 90 seconds for the neurochemical to be metabolized in your body. So if you're feeling anxious or scared or whatever, if you just sit on it for 90 seconds, it will be metabolized.
Yes.
So it's just recognizing, okay, this is what's happening right now. This is how it looks like right now. But I know I want to be skilled in this happiness business because it serves me better when I'm happy than when I'm not happy.
Yes. And you're not talking about a curriculum that takes 6 months to get to to move across the spectrum 1 or 2 points. You're saying that in a minute and a half, you can change,
you right away, just like that.
We're looking at sensing and switching as being one of the master skills of life. And so sensing and switching your emotions and saying, Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett has done some great work, a great Canadian gal just down the road, around helping us understand it is our brain that creates our emotions. So we have a somatic sensing, and there's this turbulence in our gut. And she was about to do a TED Talk, and she said, I felt that rolling in my gut, and my brain called it dread.
Yes.
But she said, I looked at that and I went, no, I don't have to call that dread. I'm going to call that focused determination. So she has recategorized that emotion. Yes. And I can tell you from doing a TED Talk, maybe you've done one as well, dread is not that helpful of an emotion, but focused determination is super helpful. So sensing and switching emotions, sensing and switching the story I'm telling myself.
Yes, I love the sensing and switch. Yes, I just call it reframing. Just reframing and reframing. I had to coach my kids this morning. Just reframing. So you anchor on what is true for you,
right?
And then when life happens, you reframe. You hold on to what is an anchor. So holding on to things, because you don't want to be constantly going upstream,
right?
Like constantly you're feeling like you're fighting. So it's always getting yourself back to what is true. So what is true for me is when I'm happy, then my body is operating. I'm at my best self.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to give away my power, because that is what makes me amazing, remarkable.
Yep.
So, and again, it's a skill. Again, this is a skill, just like any other skill. So it's not like I just, it's a skill you master the more you work with it. So one of the other, a quick thing I do, like just I quickly do is, like something, it takes savor. One of the ways to notice, wait, hold on. I just got too happy and I got excited about this.
We've got lots
You
of
were
time.
saying about I was just to say one of the researchers called Rick Hanson. He called this Teflon and Velcro. So what happens? You've heard of the Velcro and Teflon?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
When you naturally, so I don't want people to beat themselves and to think, oh my gosh, because this is how we are created for life. And before we are built, our brains are built to keep us safe. So what we look out for is usually negative things, because when you know there's something behind the bushes, then you'll keep yourself safe. So we're always looking for those, what's behind the bushes.
That's right.
So we get, that's the negativity bias, right? So because it has helped people survive.
Yes.
But not, the thing is, in the workplaces now, we even out in this modern day, we are behaving as though we are still being chased by saber-toothed tigers. We are treating our spouses, our bosses, our teams as though they are saber-toothed. We need to keep safe. So we are constantly looking for the negative.
Right.
So what they found out is the happiest people in that study for happiest people, they are able to Teflon. Teflon is the one that, like the pan that Teflon
slides right off.
It slides right off. Negativity, it will just slide right off. And then they Velcro the good things. Mm-hmm. So Velcro, because this is a really good, I give a good example when you're doing performance reviews. And then I tell you, Brady, you are awesome. You are amazing. You did this and this and this. Oh my gosh, your work is killing it. But then there's this one opportunity for growth. Where do you zero in? We all zero in on that thing.
That's all I think about.
Everything else that was wonderful about you, you don't even remember, or you now want to move on to the next to fix this thing. And that's why I also teach on this the strength finders, because we talk about using your strengths, always looking at your strengths, the good, instead of trying to build on your weaknesses. Right. Once you build on so looking for the good is such a tool. It's one of the tools I take. Look for the good. And people are like, what is good right now? The world, oh my gosh. I'm like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have complete world peace. There's small goodness. Every day there's goodness that's been shown to you. You woke up, the sunrise is still there. Or this, right now it's fall. I'm in Detroit. We have the most beautiful, in Michigan, we have the most beautiful fall. All our trees are orange and yellow. And, just looking at that. And let me tell you, it only takes 20 seconds. 20 seconds to savor, to look at something good, and it builds a new neural pathway in our brain. Just 20 seconds. That's how quick it is. To just to hold. So when you see, so we look for the good and then you savor it. Say 20 seconds. Just say and just be like, wow, that was good. Like, oh my gosh, my kid gave me a hug. That was good. Whatever. That coffee smells so good. Oh my gosh, my coffee smells so good. Yes. Like that is just small things. For us, we do. You savor 20 seconds. It just takes 20 seconds. You don't need to do a week of savoring, or, just 20 seconds, your brain starts producing a new neural pathway. Okay. And then, the third thing I say, a quick one, so that we are not in this funk all the time, so that we can move ourselves to Teflon goodness. To Teflon negativity and Velcro goodness, is 3-in-1, which is what you're saying that for you, I call it that, reframing. Like if I have one negative thought, and because negative thoughts are just thoughts, really, there's nothing about thoughts. They're just thoughts from all my life. I just turned 50, so all the things I've known for the last 50 years, they're in there in my subconscious. So some things will come. Thoughts are like birds. I keep saying. The way birds just fly, they fly over you, but you don't let them build nests on your head just because they were flying. So the same with thoughts. Just because you thought it does not mean you have to own it or believe it or accept it. Right. But then that's what the thing is we think these thoughts and then we own them and make them look like, and they really hijack our bodies.
Yes.
So I say when you get that one thought that is negative, and you'll get lots of negative thoughts, but when you just get the one thought, get 3 other thoughts so that you have the 3-to-1 ratio. So you're always covering. So that's, think what are the other 3 things you can think about. I was asking my children this morning, what are the 3 things you'll hold on to when which are the 3 truths? And I said, I am loved. I am adored by my family. I'm nice and healthy. Like they come up with their own things.
Yeah.
But those are the things that I want them to do. So when you think something that, I didn't make it to varsity cheer, those are the issues in my house right now. Like if I didn't make it to this, then my life is crashed. No, think what are the 3 other things that you can hold on to. Because they're good things. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like there is a belief inside of people that where could I ever find something good that I could Velcro onto? Mm-hmm. And I've come to this very naive view of the world, Zippy, that there is more joy in the world than there is sorrow, that there is more goodness in the world than there is evil, that there is more beauty in the world than there is ugliness. And I don't have my head in the sand. But I look around and I see mothers who love their children. I see friends who are deeply smiling and I go, you know what? There's more of that than there is sociopaths and psychopaths.
You are so right. You are so right. It's so true that there's so much goodness. It's how I don't know whether it's capitalism, patriarchy, all these things we've been socialized to think that we have to compete against each other, that things and that competitiveness and lackness of things, of resources, we feel like there's not enough and I have to win. That energetically is what is causing this. But you see, it doesn't have to be like that. If you get outside of yourself, you'll actually see, as you say, there's a lot of goodness. If you look again, the brain has this part called the reticular articulation system. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
See, Brady, you and I should teach the same class.
No, I could never do what you do, and I'm so thankful you're doing what you're doing.
But it's our way of seeing things. Like once your brain is constantly trying to confirm to you what you think you know. Like to confirm to you, because once it confirms, our brain doesn't want to be hijacked, to feel crazy. It wants to keep safe, and that's why we get on what we think is comfortable, the safety, what is comfort zone. But when you ask people who are in that, who think like that, it's really because you ask them, is it really comfortable? Because you call it the comfort zone. They're like, nobody is comfortable in that space because it's just because it's what's familiar. So what has happened is our brain is constantly trying to look at what's familiar, because if it's familiar to you, then it's not scary.
Right.
So we find, and if negativity, they've already said we have about 60,000 thoughts a day, 60,000, and guess how many of those are negative?
Oh, I can't even imagine, but it's got to be big.
80%. 80% of those thoughts are negative. And guess what? 95% of those thoughts, of the thoughts we think, are the same thoughts we thought yesterday and the day before. They're repetitive. We are not thinking new thoughts.
Wow.
So No wonder we are so tired. And
Right.
so if your brain is looking for, is constantly fearful, and because right now that's what, when you read the news, fear is there, is what is being pushed towards us. That is being pushed. It's what it's being pushed so that we can feel fearful because it serves other people when we are fearful. And that's why I'm like, so it's just a lens we are looking through things. So, and if you're fearful, you'll start finding more things to be fearful about every day. The reticular articulation system in your brain will be looking, it will find, we do an activity with my kids called, just to confirm this, like if you're looking for something, you'll find it, right? So if you're looking for goodness, you'll find it. So we look, that's when we're saying look for the good. If you're looking for badness, you'll find it. So right now we just look for yellow cars.
Ah,
Yellow cars.
okay. Yeah.
Just yellow cars. Yellow cars is neither good nor bad, but we want to see how many yellow cars. Brady, how many yellow cars do you see on the road? We usually don't notice them because they are not in our radar of looking. But you'll be surprised, between my house to the kids' school, which is just less than 10 minutes away, we can see 6 to 7 yellow cars.
That's
And we're not talking
amazing.
about school. We're not talking about school buses, and we're not talking
Yeah.
about trucks. We're just talking about regular people's cars. See, yellow cars, like you don't usually notice of yellow cars,
That's
but once
yeah.
you start looking, yeah, yeah. So there is. I'm just confirming what you're saying. There is a lot of goodness. The world is abundant. There's a big universe out here, and if we could just, we've not even scratched half the surface of what goodness is out there. So look at, but we don't even have to look at for other goodness, even just what's around us. If we took the time to say, today I'm going to look at for the good. We give awards. We go outside. As I said, I have 11-year-old kids. When we go outside, I'm like, when we are out at the park, I want you to come back with 3 awards. You've given 3 awards today. You are in the committee for giving awards.
Yeah.
And they'll come and say, that kid has the coolest shoes award, or that puppy is the cutest puppy, gets the cutest puppy award. Or, like basically there are things to look at. And when you look at those things, your brain produces that chemical. When you look at good, your brain produces the chemical and you feel good. And
Do
it's
you
good
actually
for you.
give your kids something to award those people, or is it just
No,
basically?
it's just awards now. We just
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah,
awards. They are just,
yeah,
that's just vocal awards.
yeah.
but but we do, because of the negativity bias, when we complain, shame, or blame, when we're doing any of those things, we actually, if somebody is complaining about something, we put money in that jar, like their money, so we can see. And now we notice about complaining, because complaining is also one of the ways we start. If you're not looking for good, you'd be complaining.
Yeah.
So we'll say, like me, I like to complain because, again, if you detect an accent, I'm from Kenya. Kenya
Yes,
is
I was wondering
wonderful,
about
and
that.
it's wonderful and sunny and beautiful. And I live smack in Midwest Michigan, so it's cold and wintry. So I can, right now I have a heater right here. I have a blanket. Like I can complain all day about the weather,
I
like
bet.
that, because but so my kids note that, because even me, I know, if my kids will be like, did I hear you complaining?
Money in the jar, Mama.
I have to put $1 in the jar. Put $1 in the jar.
Yeah.
If did you shame somebody? Is that a shame? So we are cognizant of when we are doing negative. So we've made it fun. It's a fun thing, so that because I feel like if we learned these things when we were kids, would be so much better in the workplaces right now as adults, as parents and things. But me, I'm learning them as I'm raising my children.
Yeah, and
It's
your kids
it,
are, I can't imagine what kind of people they're going to be in the world. I just, that's very
I have
exciting.
hope. I do have hope for the. So even when people say, "Oh my gosh, kids nowadays they are always on tech, on technology, and they don't look up," I'm like, no, they are not. They, even the ones on technology, there's goodness. There's always some goodness in it. We just need to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I drive a Subaru Outback.
Oh,
Yeah. And
what
so
color?
black, it's not yellow,
Oh,
but uh, whenever I'm driving, you have to know that I can spot a Subaru Outback a mile away,
A
right?
mile away. You will, because you've seen it. It's familiar. You know.
Yeah, and
Yes.
in the process of purchasing it, I was researching. And so anyway, the Subaru Outback lives in that is it reticular activating.
Reticular articulation system.
Yes, and
Yes.
so I think that when we invest in something and we are interested in it and we research it, that all of a sudden we are sensitized to see it everywhere. What if we invested in goodness? What if we
Yes.
are researching goodness? What if we are noticing goodness as a practice? Could it be
Mm-hmm.
a thing that we're driving down the road and we see goodness? We see somebody helping another person. We spot that and we notice it and
And
we become
yes.
experts
And
at
then
it.
even just savor it. Just notice that and be like, wow, they actually did that.
Right.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. Yes.
And so I hear you saying that there are practices, 90 seconds can shift really, really beautiful and release those powerful hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, which are just like miracle grow for the brain.
Yes.
Are there some
Happy
others?
tonic.
Yeah. Are there some other practices that our listeners would benefit from that you would just say, why don't you just try this for 90 seconds?
Yes. Again, I say some of the things, you know, some of, I just mentioned it. Some of the things again we notice if you don't, if you notice if you're complaining, if you're shaming yourself, or if you're
Yep.
blaming. That's another quick thing you can just.
Sure.
It's quick to know. When we talk about again, I try not to make. We tell people about just moving your body and sleeping. Sleeping is a big deal, by the way. Sleep is such an underrated thing. We talk, we go around saying, I didn't sleep, I did not sleep, like as though that's a wonderful thing.
Badge of
you
honor.
know like, and we don't realize how important sleep is to our well-being. Actually, I read a research recently which was so interesting. The quality of sleep you had, Brady, last night is makes you it's better for, wait, how do I frame it, compared to your marriage status and your job status.
Oh
Like
my goodness.
the quality of sleep
Yeah.
is that it gives you more happiness than your marriage status or your job status. So that's, and we think we'll work harder so that we can be happy, but no, we need to sleep.
Yeah.
We need to sleep.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that is,
job status and marital status are pretty big indicators of happiness. And so if
yes,
sleep is even more important, that just shows you how powerful and vital it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
That is, there is some work on that, and then we also do some work on the just what speaking positive. And have you seen any of the work by Dr. Emoto?
No.
It was
Oh,
the
yes.
water experiment,
Yes, I have. Yeah. The crystals.
the crystals, which
Yes.
is fascinating for me.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it is fascinating for me. But then guess what? I'm not a plant parent. Like I'll not make a plant live. But I have seen it. Like when we speak, my kids love, they bring their school program sends them home with plants to take care of. And
Yeah.
I have seen them talking to a plant, bringing it back to life.
Wow.
Just from talking to it. So that, when you're speaking, there's energy too. You're pushing out energy, and that,
Yeah.
if it's healing. So so we talk about love, using words which are more loving. Like, so when I talk about some of the things we talk about in this work of happiness is actually the people, one of leading with an open heart. And open heart, like I'll say something like, Brady, when I ask you to point at yourself, and I do this in class, you point at yourself. Nobody points at their elbows, nobody points at their little finger, nobody points at their ear or their toe. People point over here.
Not bad.
Because that is the soul of that. It means that is where you who you are. So
Hmm.
there's power in the with our heart. So I talk about leading with an open heart, and one of the ways of leading with an open heart is talking about we talk about compassion.
Yes.
Compassion. We talk about compassion. We talk about forgiveness, and we talk about gratitude. Those are just small things. Quickly, we teach about that you can do without having to buy anything. You can do from yourself at home.
Right.
You don't have to. Just gratitude has been shown to. You cannot be grateful and be at the same time, and when you're grateful, when you speak gratitude on you, when you feel gratitude, and I'm not talking about grateful because you got this and you got this.
Right.
That
Right.
is good gratitude. There's
Sure.
grateful for, oh, you I have an opportunity to be in your podcast, I'm so grateful.
Sure.
But we are talking about generating gratitude just
Mm.
because. So
Right.
so generative gratitude is where you, even in spite of what's going on, you're still grateful. You're still grateful. I am helping somebody write a book right now, and her life has been so wild. You can't believe like how many things somebody can have at the same time.
Okay.
And yet, in fact, I was like, this is such a story of resilience and redemption, because
Mm.
this lady has lost her son to murder. To date, they have not known they haven't found the person who did the murder. She lost her other son, is in prison. And because of all that stress and things going through her, she got a stroke.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And yet, oh my gosh, I had, I'm helping her write up. So I'm helping her think through her book and her chapters, because
Yeah.
she's like, this is a story. And I was like, this is a story of resilience.
Sure.
And so she's grateful. And she's like, I'm not grateful because in spite of having a stroke and not being able to move her whole left side,
Wow.
she's like, I'm still grateful. So there are different ways to open your heart, and that is, and to be the human when you point at yourself, and that is gratitude. And it goes a long ways. And then we talk about forgiveness. When you think of stories of, we just watched the journey, the story of Mandela. Do you know his story? He has there's a documentary. He has his biography.
Yeah. I know his story, but I'm not sure if I've seen the most recent one that you're talking about.
No, it's not. That's an old movie, but it was based on his biography, and I'm sure there are many other movies. I'm sure.
Hmm.
But one of the interesting things, after you've seen his story of when he was in prison and remember how he was beaten, Mandela could not see after like because of digging in the quarry, hot sun, it
Yeah.
ruined his eyes. He used to be beaten. He was in solitary
Yeah.
confinement for I don't know how many years. 27 years later, he came and he became he became president.
Yeah.
Guess what he did? He forgave the people, and the people who were his confined him, the prisoners, the prison guards,
Yeah.
they became his secret service.
Oh my goodness.
That is forgiveness. Like
That is
what?
forgiveness.
He forgave them, that he trusted them with his life as a president. That's what it's just fascinating anyway. There's so many
Unbelievable.
great things we can do every day to open our hearts a little bit.
Yes.
So some of the things I
Openness.
say, open your heart a little bit. Think of something, even for yourself, compassion, because what is this? Think I always say something you've forgiven yourself, because you won't be able to forgive other people if you can't forgive yourself, because you can
I
never
was going
give
to
to.
ask you about this because
Yeah.
is the gateway, from your perspective, so there are a lot of people who have self-loathing
Yes.
and they delight in punishing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so the self-love, the self-compassion, the self-forgiveness that needs to be happening is the route towards being a happy person, because we need to forgive others. We need to be compassionate to others. We need to have empathy for
Yes.
others and forgiveness for others. Is the route to that doing it for yourself first, and then you will find yourself doing it? Or is it, no, if I can learn how to do this for others, then I might be able to forgive myself and have compassion? What would you say?
I say, And that's an excellent question. I'm glad you've asked, because for the longest time, culturally where I come from, we thought you're being modest when you give away things, you leave yourself and you don't take care of yourself. And, we've glorified people who, will say, oh, she'll give her last coat and walk in the snow and give you her coat. And I'm like, that is because you cannot give what you don't have. So I'm always talking about, let's learn to forgive yourself, learn to appreciate yourself, learn to have compassion on yourself. And we just do a small exercise. I'll just give you 30 seconds. Like right now, Brady, what's the one thing you can appreciate about yourself? So we do that. Let me tell you, everything I teach, I do it myself. Every evening before we go to sleep, in the evening as a family, everybody has to say, one thing I am proud about myself today is. Because what that does, it helps your brain remember, oh yeah, you're good and you can, whatever. And it will, again, remember, it will make you have more things to be proud of. So you'll be fine. So, I appreciate myself because today I was able to do blah, blah, blah. I forgive myself because I was hard on myself here today. And, so basically it's a way to hold compassion for yourself. And then once you do that, we do to the next person. So I do for myself, and then my family, I have 2 children and a spouse. So you have to do, I appreciate you for this, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for this. So, and then because it's easy to do with the people you love, there's a saying by, what's his name? Why am I forgetting? He says, having your sacred friends. What's his name? He says the Chinese government is his sacred friend. What is his name? Well, I just got a brain fart. I cannot remember. I'll remember. I'll just.
What's the quote though?
What he says is, if you hold other people, you see, it's easy for me to appreciate you, Brady, because we're having a great time here right now. So it's easy for me. It's easy to appreciate myself if I had a great day myself. But it's hard to appreciate people who have been mean to you.
Yes.
So those are the ones we call them sacred friends, because they make you, it's easy to be good to good people. The thing is now to start generating something for somebody who in your mind does not deserve it. So you come, we do the appreciation. I appreciate myself. Then I go to the people who in my inner circle who I absolutely love and care for. So it's easy for me to do that. But in that energy, I'm then able to do to someone. I can send that energy to somebody who was also not, who did some unskilled things to me. So did you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. And I'm just thinking about, you're standing something on its head, which is the whole balancing the ledger. This person treats me a certain way, so I will treat them. They invited me to dinner, so okay, we're going to invite you to dinner. And what you're saying is, whether the person deserves it or not is not what causes me to generate compassion or forgiveness or love.
Yes.
That is very not our culture right now.
Yes.
But beautiful and powerful.
Yes. And you'll notice once you start doing that, I've noticed, like, even if it just going to, like you can push it to go, pushing, leading with an open heart, living with an open heart. Because I work with leaders mostly, we talk about leading, but even ourselves, yourself leading with us, like when you feel compassion on yourself and you bless yourself and you do that, that meta blessing. I think, I don't know whether you know about meta, you bless yourself, then you bless the people who love you. And then you bless those people who you generate for those people who you do not know or who are not, who are being a pain to you. But if you start using it as a practice, so like I tell people, just go to the grocery store, and when somebody, the cashier, when they're doing whatever, just give them a smile, bless them. Even if you don't talk to them, bless them. Just wish them well. Wish them the wish you had for yourself. Because in Kenya, in my culture, we say, I don't know whether you've had the term Ubuntu.
Yeah. Ubuntu. Yeah.
Ubuntu. So in my language, we call it Omodo. Omodo is seeing the humanness in somebody, the humanity in the person and their life, because they have breath. The fact that they have breath and I have breath, that it means, because nobody can breathe themselves. We are all, you have in this universal breath which we are breathing. So it's that's our commonality. We are all humans, and so seeing the humanity in that person, and so anything that I wish for myself. If today my wish, I woke up and I'll say, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be healed from any pain and suffering, and may I know peace. I wish that same thing to you, Brady. May you be filled with loving kindness today. May you not know any pain or suffering, and may you be filled with peace. And by the way, when you start doing that, it becomes a habit. Again, a habit is just something you keep doing, and it becomes it. And so when you see someone is behaving, I keep saying they're not behaving badly. I keep saying they're just behaving in an unskilled way, because they haven't learned the skill. So it's just again rephrasing just words so that you don't demonize people.
Yes.
Like unskilled, that is, you can't say they're being monsters. No. Which sometimes you're thinking that, right?
Yep.
But you're just like, they're just behaving in an unskilled way. And then remembering, even me, I was not skilled, even me, because every level of skill you go, you have to master it. You get new skills which you were unskilled to. So it's just they've not gotten to that level of in their evolution to know that skill. So that's how I just know, okay, it's just an unskilled way. So I have compassion on them, because even me, I was unskilled in that area. They're probably skilled in many other areas, which even me, I need to learn. And I know I still have a lot of unskilled things. Yeah.
You're planting the seeds of charitable interpretation. You're planting the seeds of a generous interpretation, which is beautiful. You see a behavior that is maybe dubious or irritating, or even, to use your word, monstrous.
Yes.
And you are saying, no, I'm going to call that unskillful.
Yeah, it's just unskilled.
And I'm going to still, whether that, I mean, I could think of a couple world leaders, but that we could all, we could all probably send some blessing to. That would be probably a good thing. But it's a very charitable stance that you have.
It's extending grace to people, really. Just knowing people, again, remember, I said happiness is a skill, and it's just something you learn. So, as you see somebody, like if someone is doing something the exact opposite, they just not learned it, and just have compassion. Just the same way, if you see somebody a kid playing, my kids, when they were playing soccer, and all of them, with the ball sends them, they all run one direction, and then they all run the other direction. They're just as skilled. And like if we looked at life like that, like it's just unskilled, and they'll learn it's a skill they'll need to learn, and just be we be more compassionate and not reactionary. Remember, our work is not to be reactionary, it's to really notice what we are noticing, and then lean towards good. Lean towards good. Yeah. Lean towards happy. Yeah.
So I'm going to send a blessing your way.
Oh.
In the work that you do. And I don't know if I'm a very good blesser, but I'll try my best, having heard what you said to me, which was just gorgeous. So Zippy Abla, I bless you to be a propagator of joy in a world that can be unjoyful, and to be a spreader of happiness, that you have a surprising connections, that you will have unexpected opportunities, and that possibilities will visit you that you are astounded by in your work, and also with your family. That would be my my blessing towards you with all of my heart.
And so it is.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's why we say, and so it is. And so it
yeah.
is. Thank
I
you. This
want,
is so fun.
I want to thank you for the time that you've invested, the psychic passion and heart that you put behind your words, and the mission that you have in the world, that for sharing that with us. And our listeners are going to love you. They're going to love this podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you.